Is XRP still legal despite being removed from the New York State Department of Financial Services green list? By the way, a recent report from Ripple suggests that 9 out of every 10 central banks are researching CBDCs, with some of these central banks turning to Ripple for CBDC partnerships. Moreover, The Edge Singapore recently published a report capturing the staggering volume of transactions Ripple facilitated through its on-demand liquidity partner Tranglo. Finally, following Ripple's execs' latest visit to the SEC, are we to believe that a settlement is forthcoming? If so, on what grounds? Stick with me till the end to find out more. If this sounds like something of much interest to you, be sure to check out this new video starting now. Hello everyone and welcome to our channel, where we talk about the latest updates on XRP and the cryptocurrency world in general. If this is your first time watching one of our videos, we happily send you a special welcome. We invite you to hit on the notification bell so you never miss another video. We are announcing that this channel has a giveaway of 200 XRP. To stand the chance of participating, all you have to do is simply subscribe to the channel, like this video and comment with the hashtag XRP, and the winner will be announced on the 30th of September. Specifically, the New York Department of Financial Services' recent green list eliminated XRP among the digital assets approved for custody. The issue sparked concerns, given that a federal court in the United States previously ruled that XRP is a digital asset. In a recent tweet, Watt clarified that circumstances surrounding XRP's absence from the green list are not as most people understood. He first elaborated on the NYDFS method of virtual asset regulation for companies. Quoting information from an official source, Watt noted that a New York State Department of Financial Services approval, BIT license, enables companies to offer crypto asset business. He disclosed that the license permits not only buying, selling, and holding cryptocurrencies, but also allows for brokerage services, token issuing, crypto-to-fiat exchange, and more. Furthermore, Watt highlighted that companies seek NYDFS approval to access New York markets. On the other hand, the license aims to protect the state's financial structure. Therefore, it ensures that digital asset providers fulfill standard security practices, reserves, KYC, and anti-money laundering protections. Watt noted that for the NYDFS to achieve its aim seamlessly, it keeps a green list of cryptocurrencies. The list contains digital assets automatically approved for the license holders. He added that the list is usually short, comprising largely stable coins. Besides, Watt mentioned that XRP was not the only digital asset eliminated from the list. He noted that Litecoin and Dogecoin were equally missing. Furthermore, Watt argued that XRP's removal does not mean a total ban. He revealed that companies can still deal in XRP and other off-list cryptocurrencies. However, the only bottleneck is that such an endeavor requires further vetting from the New York regulator. Specifically, Watt stressed that XRP is not an illegal digital asset under the New York regulation. Instead, it is just not an automatically approved asset for NYDFS licensed firms. In his words, so the removal only affects codes that can't face the added rigor of applying for a license in New York while offering off-list tokens. Ultimately, Watt stated that XRP's absence from NYDFS's green list adds an extra regulatory burden to companies seeking to offer XRP. Please, do not forget to subscribe to our channel and also hit that notification bell to be the first person to get more updates about the latest happenings as regards to XRP. Central bank digital currency is a concept that has been gaining traction in recent years. The pandemic, a decline in cash payments, and the growing adoption of cryptocurrencies have played a part in the growing trend. Ripple has highlighted the growing CBDC trend in its latest report. According to the report, 9 out of 10 central banks are actively exploring the possibility of launching a CBDC. The report is based on a study conducted by the Bank for International Settlements. In the 2022 study, 81 central banks were surveyed. BIS reported that 90% of these apex banks are working on different stages of CBDC deployment. The CBDC tracker of the Atlantic Council confirms the 2022 report from BIS. According to data from June 2023, 130 countries are in different stages of CBDC development. This figure represents 98% of the global GDP. The Atlantic Council reports that 19 of the G20 countries are in advanced stages of CBDC development. In addition, 11 countries have fully embraced the CBDC technology. China leads the pack, performing over $3.6 billion in monthly transactions with the digital yuan. Juniper Research confirms the growing trend, predicting that CBDC payments will reach $213 billion by 2030. Ripple's VP of CBDC, James Wallace, suggested that partnerships with the private and public sectors are essential to drive CBDC growth. According to him, the central banks can control the infrastructure while the private sector introduces the innovation. In May, Ripple launched a platform to help central banks issue their CBDCs. Ripple's CBDC platform allows central banks to mint, distribute, redeem, and burn tokens. In August, Ripple reported that 8 central banks were already building on this platform. The platforms offer apex banks more customizable and efficient CBDCs. The Ripple CBDC platform is powered by the XRP ledger. However, it is built on an independent private ledger. Ripple explains that countries are increasing their adoption of CBDCs because the technology offers greater efficiency in both domestic and cross-border payments. CBDCs can also help them expand their financial inclusion by offering access to payments and credit products. The increasing adoption of CBDCs will also be felt in the private sector. As a result, they have predicted that CBDCs have the potential to reshape the global banking and financial system. Furthermore, according to the report, Tranglo enabled small and medium enterprises to process nearly $1 billion via Ripple's ODL. In particular, it mentioned that ODL transactions increased from $53 million 2 years ago to $970 million last year. The gap in the ODL processed transaction within that period implies a 1,729% growth. The well-known XRP influencer Crypto Airy took to X to share the development with the XRP community. Notably, the report captured how the Ripple partner moved from a Malaysia-based cross-border payment firm to a global remittance provider. It highlighted that Tranglo became a global contender through its people-centric approach. The group CEO of Tranglo, Jackie Lee, elaborated on the key principles that underscore the firm's strategy. According to Lee, Tranglo's journey began by addressing the specific needs of individuals and aligning its services with their demands. Specifically, Lee cited catering to the needs of people seeking international airtime top-up services. In his words, "Foreign workers needed them for their loved ones back home, so we filled the gap to stabilize supply. In 2015, we pivoted to cross-border payments, again prioritizing people's need for more affordable remittances." Also, Lee mentioned that its strategy included empowering a formidable workforce and forging strategic alliances. In a recent tweet, Tranglo expressed gratitude for the partnership with Ripple, as it is pivotal in its success story. Now to the big question of the day, Ripple's exec's latest visit to the SEC. Are we to believe that a settlement is forthcoming? Please, do not forget to subscribe to our channel and also hit that notification bell to be the first person to get more updates about the latest happenings as regards to XRP. In a startling development, top executives from Ripple Labs visited Washington, D.C. to meet with members of the United States Congress as part of efforts to push for favorable crypto bills for the crypto industry. Notably, the Washington, D.C. trip was led by Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse. Other top executives from Ripple Labs, including Chief Legal Officer Stuart Alderety and Vice President, Global Head of Public Policy Rob Grant, also embarked on the trip. Garlinghouse took to the X platform to announce the development. The Ripple CEO mentioned that he's back in Washington, D.C., along with Alderety, for meetings with Congress members. He emphasized the importance of engaging with elected officials responsible for proposing bills to achieve regulatory clarity. It bears mentioning that the development comes over 2 months after a federal court issued the highly anticipated summary judgment in the company's multi-year legal tussle against the SEC. The leading blockchain payments company partially won the case, as the court ruled that most of its XRP-related transactions did not violate federal securities laws. While the SEC is pushing for an interlocutory appeal to challenge the ruling on Ripple's programmatic sales of XRP and other distributions, the company execs recently sent a subtle message to the regulator. In a tweet yesterday, Alderety shared a picture of him with Garlinghouse standing in front of the U.S. Supreme Court, using the caption, "While the industry waits for legislative clarity from Congress, we should always be able to count on checks and balances." A few hours later, Garlinghouse also shared a picture of him with Alderety in front of SEC headquarters. Garlinghouse clarified that their visit to the SEC's building was not based on invitation. Expectedly, all pictures prompted reactions from XRP community members. Some enthusiasts speculate that Ripple execs indirectly informed the SEC of its readiness to adopt all available options to resolve the legal battle, including taking the case to the Supreme Court. However, others suggested that Ripple could prepare to settle with the SEC following its visit to the agency's building. Reacting to the development, Yasin Mabarak, a prominent XRP community member and founder of Dizzer Capital, stated that the picture is not a settlement message from Ripple. According to Mabarak, the lawsuit between the SEC and Ripple could be heading to the Supreme Court unless the regulator comes back to its senses. Furthermore, another XRP enthusiast named the Bearable Bull hopes that Ripple takes the case to the Supreme Court. Meanwhile, pro-XRP lawyer John Deaton gave unsolicited advice to Ripple execs for the first time. While reacting to the picture of Garlinghouse and Alderity standing in front of the SEC's building, Attorney Deaton said, "Since you were sued only days before Christmas, I suggest you make this picture a postcard that reads, 'Don't blame US,' and send it to Clayton, Hinman, and Gensler this Xmas." Deaton advised. It is worth noting that Ripple has made it clear that it is willing to settle with the SEC or go all the way to the Supreme Court to resolve the lawsuit. The SEC has yet to signal plans for a settlement, as it is currently asking the court to certify an interlocutory appeal. Notably, the SEC has filed the necessary motion for an immediate appeal and expects a ruling from the court. So we come to the end of this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please make sure you like the video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. This really helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Also, you can help enlighten others just like you have been enlightened by sharing this video to as many people as possible. Let's get this news everywhere, guys. If you are a true cryptocurrency fan, don't miss any of our content. See you tomorrow to talk about the latest news that concerns us all as a community.